It's Wednesday. We are wizards. It's time for our weekly cult meeting, Wizard Wednesday. Channeling in from the Quantum Downs, this is Elf.
And Dotta, hello.
And we are just exclamation point magic. Dotta, I hear you have some ideas about what it means to be a warrior.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I watched The Lion King with my kids this weekend, and it was just so relevant for what we're doing with the Warriors. So, grab a cup of coffee, settle down, snuggle in. I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about The Lion King and what it means to be a warrior. Okay, so I want to preface this with just the fact that I know that it's like kind of easy to dismiss The Lion King as sort of like a children's story, right? But at the same time, I think everybody who's listening has probably seen it, and I think that The Lion King like lasts as a story because there are just some very old like archetypical ideas there that are worth looking at. So,
Dude,
I
I'm
especially
just gonna tell you right now, Lion King is probably my favorite Disney movie. So you're
okay, perfect.
yeah, you're in good territory.
Well, great. I mean, keep your mic on and pipe on, pipe in as you sort of like
Okay.
have ideas as we talk through it.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't talked through this with Alf yet. Oh, and Bear Snake, he's I don't know. Where did you say you guys? I don't think he's here
Oh,
today.
Bear Snake is wheeling and dealing in Alchemist Archipelago right now, but we'll touch on that
Okay.
later.
Okay. Perfect. Um. Okay. Yeah. So I especially want to look at the progression of like Simba becoming a warrior. So okay. So you have Simba, right? He's this young, carefree lion cub, but he lives in this dangerous world, and he's also kind of overconfident because his father Mufasa is like always protecting him. So he's protecting him from the dangers of the savannah, right? Getting lost. There are hyenas that want to attack him, and like of course there's his jealous, murderous Uncle Scar. And so, of course, as you know, like Scar, he coordinates like a wildebeest stampede. Mufasa is killed, and Simba he runs away into the desert. And out in the desert is where he meets Timon and Pumbaa, right? So Timon and Pumbaa, they have a lot of really great qualities. They take him under his wing. They really act as like sort of parents, right? They feed him, they protect him, they accept him, and they don't care about his past. And they teach him to loosen up and not care about himself so seriously, or like take himself so seriously. But like I think that Timon and Pumbaa actually kind of mislead him a little bit insofar as like what they teach him is a bit of like self-focused nihilism, right? So like Hakuna Matata, it means no worries. And so the good part is that means like don't worry about your past, don't worry about your problems, but it also means like don't worry about anyone else either. Hakuna Matata,
It's
whatever
it's
happens,
it's a
happens.
problem-free philosophy. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. No, exactly. And there's like nothing, something happens, problem free. There's nothing you can do about it. And and so like for all the good of like Timon and Pumbaa, I think that's the part that is like that's their flaw. That's their biggest flaw, right? Like they accept anyone, but at the same time they also like don't really care about anyone else in insofar as they feel like they can't do anything about it. And uh Simba kind of feels like a problem with that as the movie kind of progresses or as the play, right? As he grows, you find he wants like roughhouse, right? He wants to stalk, he wants prey, he wants to hunt. He kind of like feels that he has this strength that's going unused. He wants to roam the territory. He doesn't want to stay in one place. He's full of strength and energy, and he's just like longing for more, right? But they have everything that they need in paradise. And Pumbaa and Timon, they kind of look at him and they're like, I don't know what your problem is, right? Like we have everything that we need. Okay, so flashback to the Pride Lands, right? Scar has just destroyed the environment. They're over hunting. There's no food. And so Nala, who's also now grown up, she's forced to hunt outside of her normal territory just to find something to eat. And as fate has it, she finds Pumbaa as her prey, right? And she's chasing Pumbaa. She's about to eat him. And at the last minute, Simba intervenes and he tackles her, or actually, she tackles him. And like really interestingly, this is the first time in the movie that we see Simba like using his strength to protect his friends. And I think that's like a really important idea here. And Nala, she sees Simba and then she recognizes him and then she realizes he's alive. And this part like really gets to me, right? Because at first she's happy, but then she's mad. She's actually mad at Simba and she asks him, she's like, "Why didn't you come back? We needed you." And even then he doesn't really get it, right? Like he's lived with Timon and Pumbaa for too long, and he just asks her like, "Why would I go back? Like why would I go back and leave paradise?" why should I go back? I'm comfortable here. We swim, we rest all day, we have all the bugs we can eat. Besides, what different could I make? And man, I think that is just our own attitude sometimes, right? We might just say, like, I'm fine, I'm doing great, I'm in paradise, I've got what I need, and like, what difference could I make anyway? I'm just one man. And we all know deep down that viewpoint like isn't true, right? Like when we're looking at when we're on the outside looking in, and you look at Simba, it's like so clear how he could help. But sometimes I think when we are Simba, when we're the Simba, like we have blinders on and we don't want to see it, right? So okay, so Simba,
I totally
he's
agree with
really defiant.
everything.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say, so far, your analysis is spot on. And yeah, I can see where you're going, but continue.
Yeah, so he's defiant, right? And you know what he says to Nala? He's like, "You're beginning to sound like my father." And she says, "Well, at least one of us does." And this idea of like the fathers of the past and like living up to the fathers of the past is so important in the story of the warrior. And like, forgive me for using masculine pronouns too, because I think the father warrior archetype is classically masculine, but I don't at all mean that only men are warriors, right? Like hardly. Nala and the lionesses and our own mothers are all warriors. And so I'm going to refer to the archetypical father, but don't misunderstand me and think that I mean only males can play this role. Like, of course, women play this role. But so, like unconsciously, Simba, he just feels like in his bones, right, that he's built to do more than just rest in paradise. But like unconsciously, he has this kind of like broken worldview of like, self-pleasing Hakuna Matata, right? And so when Nala shows up, he's confronted with this obligation to help his family. And you can just tell he's a man in conflict, right? He feels lost. He needs guidance. He's looking for meaning. And I just think that's so good. It's just such a good story because it's like we know this is true in our own lives, right? Like you can have everything. You're full of food, you're full of leisure, you sit and you watch Netflix for 8 hours straight, and like, are you happy? And no, like you feel like restless. You feel like I should be doing something, right? Like you think that you'll be happy with rest, but you deep down like rest is not the thing that you need. So okay, so Simba, he's like out thinking it over. He's like, Nala showed up, and Rafiki, she comes up and she says to him, "Your father is alive," and he's like, "No, no, no, like my father is dead." And she says, "No, no, I'll show him to you."
I think
And he
Rafiki's a
goes and he
boy.
looks into the. Sure,
Okay.
sure.
And
So
also,
so
I just
so he
want to
looks in.
throw in Rafiki is a wizard in this story, by the way.
Totally.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Rafiki the wizard. She
Yes.
comes, she comes and she shows him. And he looks in the pond and he sees his reflection, right? And what does he see? It's not like a young cub anymore. He's this like strong, full-maned lion. So I have a son, and he's growing up. He's taller than I am now, and we have a really good relationship. Like we wrestled when he was younger, and like as he grows bigger, he's like always testing me, right? So like his favorite way is arm wrestling, and so we'll like arm wrestle all the time. And I'm like 40 almost, and he's a kid, so he loses easily, like by a lot. Um, and he's growing all the time, and every couple of weeks, we'll be at a restaurant or whatever, and he'll just like look over at me and he'll be like, "I bet I can beat you this time." I'm bigger than before. And so we'll arm wrestle or whatever, and he loses, and it's fun. And so my dad, his grandfather, was over a few weeks ago, and we were all talking about this. And my son said to me, he's like, "Oh, Dad, I want to see you wrestle Granddad." And my dad and I both looked at each other and we're like, "No, no, 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 no." And like, my dad and I didn't want to arm wrestle each other. And I've thought about that a lot because, you think like, well, yeah, you're grown, he's grown, maybe you can test him. And I think like when you're young, it's kind of annoying that your dad can beat you in an arm wrestle because like he represents like the world to you, right? And you want to throw all your energy towards being strong and like you really want to beat your dad and like and then that means that you are strong, right? But as you get older, like you find that like the fact that your dad can beat you in arm wrestling is like comforting. Like it means that your dad is there and like can protect you from the world. And so like the day that you beat your dad in arm wrestling, like symbolically means like that's the day that you have to face the world on your own. And in fact, it even means that you have to protect him and everyone around you now. You are the strong one. You have to take your place as someone who's responsible for those around you. And like just like your father did before you, just like your mother did before you, and their fathers and mothers before them, right? So I actually don't think that I could beat my dad arm wrestling right now, and I'm glad for that. And I also know that like not everyone listening had a father that kind of played that role for them. But as for Simba, right, like his father is gone. So he looks in the pond, he sees his reflection, he sees a lion, and he looks like his father, and his father appears in the clouds and says, "You've forgotten who you are, and so you have forgotten me." And I think that it's like in that moment that Simba realizes that like now it's his job to be the protector, that he can make the difference, and that the people around him need his help. And so he returns to Pride Rock, fights Scar, and he wins, right? But I think what's really important too is to look at is that it's not just Simba alone, right? Like don't forget, like not Nala and the lionesses, they stayed the whole time. They stayed together. They stayed and protected the cubs. I mean, it's the women in this story really that kept the community intact. They are warriors themselves. They served for years, and they're braver than Simba in many ways. I mean, maybe Simba had a larger physical stature, but like Nala fought for her community for a lot longer. And I think that mothers like don't get enough credit necessarily for their like warrior like qualities, right? But at the same time, like everyone knows that you don't get between a mama bear and her cubs. So okay, so Simba returns, right? He uses his strength to drive off the exploiters. He protects the pride. He restores order. He protects the environment. The community flourishes, and he finds meaning. And why? It's not because he rested in the jungle and took his ease. It's because he used his strength for a force of good. And so, to me, that captures the key idea of what it means to be a warrior, which is this: to be strong and help those around you. It's not enough to like make life-changing wealth and live a life of leisure. You won't be happy with that anyway. Somebody has to help, and that warrior is you. So yeah, that's what I
Solid,
have to say about
bro.
that.
Solid. Yep. Yep. I have not arm wrestled my dad in a while. But I think next time I go, I'm gonna have to test him because
Okay.
'cause I don't know. I feel like I need to take my rightful place on Pride Rock.
Yep.
And
You need to know. You need to
you
know.
got to know, yeah. No, that's great, and I think that's super accurate. I have to throw in that like, yeah, Rafiki is the wizard in this archetypal story. It's such a great pairing. The wizard and the warrior, the might and the magic, the sword and the sorcery. Um, and yeah, I mean, I could segue into like what I've been thinking about the Warriors, what I've been observing so far. Um, I'm thinking a lot about the Warriors entering the Runiverse, and I'm really drawn to this idea that not only do they bring this complementary harmony to the Runiverse, but they also potentially do the opposite, meaning they can potentially bring discord and dissonance and conflict. Um, and where there's conflict, there's story, and where there's story, there's lore. Um, so if there's one thing I want this project to do, it's like all good art. I want it to reflect what's happening in the real world. The Runiverse is not quote a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That's not what the Runiverse is. The Runiverse is actually a reflection of our world. In fact, maybe it is our world. In fact, maybe it portends our future world. In fact, I actually believe that the Runiverse is a real place, and by that I mean as the metaverse blends with the meatverse on some sort of quantum Ouroboros. We are literally our wizards, and our wizards are us. And so what I'm saying is that by bringing warriors into the Runiverse, let's just look at what is already happening on the current plane of reality that we are intersecting with. So for one, in the Secret Tower Discord, there's this huge influx of newcomers, and they're bringing all kinds of big warrior energy. They're asking questions, they're demanding answers, they're kind of causing a ruckus, and it's great. And the wizards who are already here, like the old and wizened Runiverse elders that they are, they've been graciously mentoring these young wizards about the ways of our world. And so I encourage everybody to just lean into the archetype, lean into the role play, because at some point maybe it's not even a role play, it's real. So I'm imagining, alliances with these warriors because they bring this new complementary thing to the Runiverse. But I'm also imagining conflict, and let me just underline this. Hopefully, this conflict is healthy and fun. But good healthy fun, good healthy conflict means adventure. Because again, the world is full of conflict. The world is full of adventure, and sometimes you just need a warrior to tank up and resolve it. You need a warrior to just kick out all the hyenas. Um, and another thing I noticed on Twitter the other day was like, we tweeted, well, for one thing, the warriors can't use magic. And the replies to that were great. Um, we saw replies that said things like, well, the wizards could put runes on the warriors' weapons, or the wizards could enchant swords, or the wizards can just, magic charge a sword. Um, and then Fiscantes hilariously said, like, the warriors don't need magic because even wizards will find it hard to control magic when they get a mace to the face. And then Jerky, this someone named Jerky, I think is new, said something hilarious where he said, "What if?" And I'm just spitballing here. They cut off the wizard's arms and waved them around. Would that work? And so the point I'm making is like, even these comments show exactly what I'm talking about. We see teamwork and we see conflict. We see harmony and we see discord. And so all of this is driving the story and the lore, and it's making the world feel bigger and more complex and more real. And so this is exactly what I want the Warriors to bring, and I'm already seeing it happening.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the wrench attack of cryptography, right? So like cryptography and like private keys are also their own sort of form of magic, and no one can kind of like break the cryptography to have you hand over your private keys, but really all you need is someone to show up at your house with a wrench to just like convince you to give them your keys, right? And so
That's
there's,
exactly right.
yeah, we always see this trade-off.
Yep. Awesome. Well, we've got a lot of updates we can go over today.
Yeah, does anyone want to come on stage? So, we don't have Bear. I don't know if Locke is going to come up. We don't have a special guest. So I think there's also room if any folks want to come up and like make some comments. If anyone wants to talk about what it means to be a warrior for them, I think we probably have room for that today.
Yep.
And so, yeah, feel free to raise your hand and come up on stage.
Yep. All right, we got a lot of people coming up. All right, let's see. Hold on. Tom, hello.
Yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, just wanted to have if anyone had plans on going to NFT-NYC, let's make a little subgroup to wrap on that.
Oh yeah.
There's already
Amazing.
a subgroup, Tom. Under the secret tower, there's a thread called NFT-NYC.
Oh wow. Okay.
There it is. There it is, Tom.
What's up, guys? I have a couple questions about you wizards, about the Forgotten Ruins.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey.
All right, so I'm pretty new to this space, and not gonna lie, I kind of fell in love with it because it reminded me of the old school RuneScape. I don't know if you guys know about that game.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so I pretty much fell in love with this project. I joined it a couple days ago, except I'm not too familiar with how you guys are doing it. If you guys are still doing like regular other projects, whitelist to mint, or if you don't, what are the processes of being on that whitelist? How can I get more involved with the community? Because sometimes I be chatting on the chat. I don't get. I guess since I'm new, not really a lot of people talk to me, but I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, we could talk about this. It's a fine enough time for us to talk a little bit about Warriors minting. So I'll just do it real briefly. So there is a Well, there's a pinned message. Okay, so one thing is the Wizards collection is already minted out. You can buy those on OpenSea and secondary. So we've been going since June of last year. We're doing a Warriors drop on May 11th. So that's actually exactly 2 weeks from today. There is an allow list, which you can find in the pinned message in the secret tower in our Discord. Explains kind of all the details. There's also a blog post that outlines all the details. The short version is you should register with PREMINT. You can find the link there, and just connect your Twitter, Discord, and wallet, and then you'll be entered into the allow list. But one thing to know is that the first phase is a true reverse Dutch auction, which means everyone pays the same price. Unlike other Dutch auctions where if you buy early, you just pay more than everyone else. In our Dutch auction, you will get a refund down to the lowest price. So everyone who participates in the Dutch auction, as well as everyone who participates in the allow list phase, all get the same price. So it's convenient to get into the allow list because you have you have 24 hours to mint one at that price. But you can also buy in the Dutch auction and get the exact same price as the allow list regardless. So that's the short version, and so that we'll announce those raffle winners around May 9th.
This
Cool.
information is on our website, by the way.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
about to take a look at it right now. I'm sorry, I was a little bit ignorant to that, but I'm
That's
Not
okay.
at all.
definitely
No,
gonna check it out.
there's a lot of information there too. We don't mind talking about it, and there's a lot of like little details too. But those are the high level things. If you just know two things, it's one, register with PREMINT if you want allow list. Two, everyone gets the same price.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, bro. Appreciate it for real.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Glad to have you.
Always. Have a good one.
Bam Bam, did you want to say something?
I did want to say something.
What's
Hey,
up?
everybody.
Hey.
So I have been a halfway scribe for maybe a month now, actually. But I did want to announce that we did find our dream scribe. We actually met many, many potential super awesome and capable, qualified scribes. But we did select our very favorite, which is Reptar. And if you guys are not a part of the House of Wizards channel, go on in there because he will be there to listen to all your problems. I mean, we will still be there as well, but he's just going to sort of help us stay, stay grounded, make sure we're hearing all of your feedback, as well as helping us get our shit together so that we can keep pushing forward with the House of Wizards and create amazing things together as a community. So everyone, please welcome Reptar.
Welcome,
you.
Reptar, the
Welcome,
scribe.
Reptar. Yeah, well, we're on that for the like House of Wizards, Forgotten Council DAO. The progress is that we have funds from babies, we have funds from beasts, so the council is very well funded. However, we're basically working on establishing like formal legal registration, like a formal organization in. It's most likely going to end up in the Cayman Islands. We'll announce like official everything's. So like it's not in black and white yet, but I don't mind telling you that what it's looking like it'll shape out up is that the community that owns the Forgotten Runes tokens will have power basically through electing the Forgotten Council members. So there's 9 right now. You can find I'm sure we have it in the House of Wizards who they are. It includes myself, Matazuki, BamBam, and yeah, you will be able to kind of vote for who is on that council if you own tokens, and then as well as we'll put things up for community vote when in cases where it's something significant. But at the same time, the organization will have the ability to, for example, pay its own bills without having to require a community vote every single time. So you might wonder, wow, you guys have been talking about this for months and months. Like, why is that not set up yet? And the person responsible for getting it set up is me. And so if you're upset about it taking a long time, you can ask me and I will explain to you why it's taking a long time. We're working with lawyers, accountants, advisors. We basically just want to make sure everything's buttoned up, watertight. And it's going to be a very, very good structure for us once we get it dialed in, but it's just taking a bit of time. So we should have, we'll tell you as soon as it's ready.
If it's
Yeah.
not, I just want to quickly say, if it's not clear to newcomers, what we're talking about right now is the DAO.
Yeah, and just quickly, the DAO basically exists so that we can sort of further our IP and our community efforts to express ourselves in many different ways and expanding the Runiverse. So super excited for this. We don't, just because we're waiting for the entity, we don't want to just like stop all progress. So you will hear from us next week, actually, more on how we can get some proposals started, so that just so even if we can't release the funding quite yet, we can sort of like get used to how the process works, work out any kinks, get your creative juices flowing, so that when the money is ready to be dispersed legally, then we can just like press the button and go. So really looking forward to sharing that with you guys next week.
Awesome. Mado, you came up here.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, so
Hey.
just briefly, to my part of it, we're gonna have like a discourse forum set up for the DAO. It's like currently right now it's like rolled up, but we're just kind of like I'm ironing out through all the settings for it. So there will be an actual forum, so that way we can have more long form discussions that are easier to have than on Discord, where you would have to thread it up, and threads are easy to get lost and conversations get butted into. So that should make the proposal process a lot easier once that rolls out. You will have the option to sign up with either your Discord account or just email. I'm trying to also get Google authentication and Twitter as well, so there'll be multiple ways we can sign in. Those forms could also be used for just, even if you just brainstorming ideas, like even if you have like an idea for a proposal but you don't quite have the basics down on maybe what exactly, like maybe how exactly you're going to plan it out, or how many people are willing to help. You can use those forums as well to communicate with the larger community and see whatever you guys need. So we want to try to make this as easily accessible as possible, and open up the stage for everybody to bring up their ideas. This wizards are for everybody, soon warriors as well. And we want to make sure that everybody has a say in what we're doing here.
Great. Two Crows, what's up, man?
Hey there.
Hey.
How you guys doing? I might be a little loopy. I had hand surgery earlier this morning, which went fantastic, but I'm still on pain meds. So I think I should sound okay. I wanted to say that Blessed ETH, that was our first speaker today, had mentioned something about the community, and I just wanted to speak on that because I think I have a really great perspective. I'm kind of new. I had a merch box and I didn't mint my pony because I was not paying attention and being a wacko until like December. And so I mint this pony and I do a deep dive. And just a quick little thing. Bear Snake and I, IRL, are super tight friends. So we go camping together and our sons play together, and I know his wife and his whole gig, right? So I had supported with a merch box. And so I had this merch box, and they came over to dinner, and he's like, hey, have you looked in the merch box? And I'm like, no. And so I find the pony and I mint it, and then I do this deep dive because I have two speeds. It's like I'm not doing something or I'm just 100 miles per hour. So I do a deep dive and I get super geeked out, and so I love it. I'm like, oh, damn, I'm kind of late. I think the floor price was around, I think 2 ETH or something, maybe 2.5. I don't really remember. So I go through and I search the entire wizard library, right? I go by heads. I mean, I'm talking about I spend like 2 weeks and I dive through and I'm looking at like all the different everything. I learned, affinities. I go nuts. And I found I found Two Crows, my PFP right now, and my main guy, and it was owned by a community member. And I'm like, I explained to this whole story. I mean, I bond to this character beyond all things. In real life, I make things, and a horseshoe, every element of that PFP just screams to me. My nickname by my family is Birdman. Like it goes on and on. Literally every element of this thing. So I contact a community member and I said, hey, I don't know if you're into ponies,
but I'd love to trade you this pony. And I know that's probably a terrible deal. I would never take that deal. Two Crows was listed at 10 Ethereum and worth every penny, or every Ethereum. And so he goes, you know what? I believe what you're saying. You know, a lot of people come into this. By the way, I'm not a verified wizard, blessed Eve, like you at this point. Like, I'm just basically, hoping people will take me at face value. And the guy's super cool, and he says, you know what? You sell that pony and just give me the Ethereum, and I'll just give you whatever you sell the pony for, and I'll give you 2 Crows, or Artificer Corvin of the Event Horizon, as his actual name. And I go, wow, that's great. He goes, you know what? In fact, go ahead and sell it under the floor, so you can just really have a good shot at doing this. And his name is Lateralis. I might be mispronouncing his name, but that's my wizard father. That's my cult father. So he does this for me, and it worked. And my wife thinks I'm crazy, by the way. And I'm sitting at dinner, and she's like, "What is this pony you're talking about? I don't even understand." And she's cooking dinner. I'm like, "It's a pony. It's worth like at the time like $15,000." And she's like, I have a lot of crazy ideas, so she's just like kind of writes me off, and she's cooking dinner. So I'm like, oh, this guy told me he's gonna trade me the pony for the wizard. And I'm like, oh, that sounds fantastic. And she's like, okay, well, just eat your dinner, right? So I'm like, I'm selling the pony right now, and I list the pony. So I list the pony at the beginning of dinner. We haven't even finished dinner, and I get a notification that someone bought the pony. So I'm telling you, and this is I believe in like sim theory. So wizards and sim wizards like this, like also screams to me. I'm on that kind of weird plane, and I'm like, look at that magic. And she's like, I can't believe it. She goes, oh my God, that was so much money. She goes, and she goes, what are you going to do with it? I said, I'm going to buy the wizard. She goes, you're not going to keep it? And I'm like, no, are you crazy? I'm buying this wizard. So I buy the wizard, and then that's how 2 Crows began. So one, there's a community member right there out the gate that did me the hugest solid thing. And I create many things, and wizards has been one of my most favorite things I've ever done. One. 2, the community after that is one of the nicest communities, blessed Eve, that I have ever. I've played all MMOs, Warcraft. I was a main tank in a progression guild. I played Star Wars Galaxies, Galaxy of Heroes. I lead guilds. I've been in many Discords. I still play other video games, and by far the nicest community I've ever seen in my 20 plus years of gaming and all of these communities that are similar is Wizards, by far, not even close. And so the members here are so nice. If you show a true valid interest in the project that's path, we have the saying, lore, not floor. If you show any interest in, oh, what a cool, you don't have to write lore. You could be like, I read your lore. That's really cool. But that goes so far. Or, just being interested in the art or the stories or Wizard Wednesdays. These are things that the community values. And if you show any glimpse of any of that during at any moment, most community members that are a core part of this will embrace you with open arms. So that I just wanted to say about the community. It is absolutely wonderful. I'm late to the game, starting, and I think I published my first lore. I'm not sure. I think I did art first, but anyways, I've been embraced with open arms by behaving in that way. And if you do have an interest in the community, like it is one of the best communities that I have ever witnessed in pretty much all facets. So I just wanted to speak on that for any of the new people in the channel. And bless, that was a really cool question you asked, and that's about it.
2 Crows.
Thank you.
That was a hell of an endorsement.
We're glad to have you. We're fortunate to have you as part of this community.
Yeah. 2 Crows has done some awesome things. That gold key that he made a few weeks ago.
I think about that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so the artificer part, I'm a fine jeweler. I've worked in fine jewelry I made my first piece 22 years ago, and it was a horseshoe ring, which is what my crow is holding, a magical horseshoe. And so I made that key because I can't help myself. And I'm actually just finishing a 2 Crows pendant that is exactly true to my PFP. And I'll show everybody.
Cool.
And
I don't know if this is talking shop too much, but could you walk us through just like briefly what it takes to actually like do that key? Do you like carve a mold out of clay or something? Like, how do you even get there?
So, sure. So I have this amazing production group that I work with. So we do two ways. Anything that is asymmetrical ends up being a hand carving, right? And anything that is symmetrical or is already existing, like the wizard art, like the runes art, like that key, I just take that key and run it through a CAD program, computer animated design, and then mess with sizes and actually and do test things on it. So I printed a couple and then I got a really good one. And then I realized I passed the chain, which is usually it's called a bail, not to be too technical, but the top of a pendant when there's a little loop on top of that the chain runs through, that's called a bail. Okay, so I don't like bails when you can avoid them. And the key was amazing because you can run the chain right through the keyhole and eliminate the bail. Because my favorite thing, I love taking an NFT or something that everyone wants to bitch about and say, that doesn't exist. Well, it's just a JPEG.
Yeah.
And I love to just tell people like that, F you, and here's, and you're not even thinking about it right. Like let me just throw this in your face. So here's my JPEG, and now it exists around my neck. I like that idea. And I love to break rules. I love to learn rules and then snap them in half. So that key, then I did that and that key, but when you wear a key through that, it flips back and forth. So then all of a sudden I was exposing the flat back of that because I just ran it off the original art. So I've actually since built the other side. So it's also, so now it's like, has the key on the other side too. And now it's a real key. It looks like you just took a real key and threw it on a chain. And then I'm going to mess around. This will take me a bit, but I'm going to see if I can make an actual lock, like the locks we just did, and actually have it be working on that lock.
Oh,
Make a functioning lock that is from that 8-bit art that will crack that open. That will take me a little bit, but that I've started messing with it.
Amazing.
And then the crow, or all of our wizards for that matter, like when I actually do this, I'll offer to the community. My jewelry company is called Huckleberry Ltd, big plug. And we're really expensive. Like we don't mess around. We make like pretty much collector items and things. When I do stuff for the cult, I'm going to do it like we call cost plus, which is a jewelry term when we just do stuff and then just cover any miscellaneous taxes or whatever. So I don't actually, they won't go through my jewelry company because I can't do that. I'll be setting up, that's what part of this shop I'm creating will have stuff like that. Two Crows Bazaar is to do that. And so anyway, so the wizard art is no different. I take that, I run it through CAD because I want an exact replication of the art that is that. And then we're using enamel, and it will have like the little 8-bit cubes on it and the whole thing. So it will look exactly like it. And then the last thing I'll say is I'm figuring out how to do it with just the wizard, and I'm figuring it out also how to do it in a square where I can put the rune if people like that and they're familiar. So it's, because I really like the idea. I don't want to mess with the art. I love the art because I'm such a video game geek. And it just speaks to me on 1,000 different levels. So I love the art as it is. So I don't want to mess with that. So it'll be two versions, on a square or your wizard just naked by himself holding his prop.
I'm sorry that you had hand surgery, but we need to get you on painkillers more often.
We can get some cannabis potions brewed up. Maybe that was
exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the painkiller endorsement.
Yeah. But this is wonderful. I love this idea so much. Yeah.
I have a quick question too, Crow. I see you're planning on selling the jewelry. Would you happen to perhaps have the idea of maybe integrating NFTs with that somehow? Like, maybe get like a NFT, like for verification that you actually have it in real life, and then it would be cool as like a little wallet wallet receipt or whatever.
Sure. I'm totally open to it. While I'm setting up the bazaar, I really don't want it to be a solo thing. So I've just been slowly working on these things because I'm a big doer and I don't like talking that much. Or I love talking. I just don't like saying what I'm going to do. So I've been more like building all these things. And I want the bazaar. I just think it's fun, one. And two, I know TV has our amazing Forgotten Market, which I bought and sold wizards on, which I absolutely love. that. I want to figure out a way that, I like the idea of selling NFTs. I love gaming, like I've said 10 times. I like the idea of farming and building things in game. I did that. I was selling video game items when I was playing Star Wars Galaxies or Warcraft, like building and selling accounts, Star Wars Galaxies from my other fellow fans out there, if there are any. Like I sold and bought crate pearls, which were used for lightsabers, and we had to do like bank wires in order to do it. So I'm a super into that stuff. So I don't know. I want to figure out how to make the bazaar. I need to, I wanted to make it more of a community thing to a certain degree. I've collaborated with like the Alchemist, my homie that I met through the community. We mess around about, and I'm making some art that he's a potion dealer dropping off stuff at the bazaar. But I want the bazaar to be kind of more community oriented. So I haven't figured out exactly how to incorporate that. I'm still kind of working through it. I was going to talk to a few people further down the road I got. And I love there being an NFT functionality of it. Although for this stuff, the jewelry is making jewelry of what already is an NFT. But maybe there could be a functionality aspect where like you get a permanent discount at the bazaar, or maybe, whatever. We can figure out stuff like that. So I'm not sure. I'm open to it, and I'm going to open this topic up, soon down the road with like various community members to figure out how we can make it a really fun thing.
Yeah. I think it can even be as simple as just like maybe like a 3D turnaround of the jewelry piece itself, whatever,
Yeah.
or maybe you can have like a bespoke kind of like commission piece of like maybe like some artwork of a wizard buying something from your shop, stuff like that.
I love it all. I'm open to all ideas, but yeah, that's it. I don't want to take up too much time. I wish Wizard Wednesday was 2 hours. I actually joking to my surgeon, I was like, "Can we hurry up? I have to get to Wizard Wednesday." And he's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I'm like,
What, he doesn't know?
I know.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to give a quick little update that I meant to do last week, but I promised him I would do it this week. Our good friend Bonzo, who does the Wizard News YouTube show, he wanted me to put out a call to all the Beast owners. He wants to interview you for his show. If you are interested in doing that, I think that would be great. I would love to see that. I know that Locke, I think you did an interview with Bonzo, right?
Yep, sure did.
Yeah, I still haven't watched that, but I want to. And then Bear Snake did an interview, and I just want to know, Bonzo, when are you going to interview me? It's not like you guys don't hear enough from me every Wednesday.
Shots fired.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're a Beast owner, definitely hit up Bonzo. He wants to. Oh, there he is, Bonzo. Hey, man. Let me.
Also, I think Niski added beasts to the Book of Lore today, and Beast Spawn. We should have that by, if it doesn't work today, it should be worked by like this week.
Great. What's up, Bonzo?
Mate, I don't know how much time you got for me, but yeah, if you got some free time, mate, we'll definitely sort something out.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
We'll pencil something in. Coming up, I think we've got 5 of the Beast owners lined up. Still a couple waiting to hear from, but yeah, going to be a very interesting few weeks coming up.
Awesome. And you interviewed Merlin last week, right?
Yeah, that was by far. Oh, mate, some of the quotes you can get out of that guy, insane. Definitely very inspiring and makes you believe in the cult even more.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah. If you guys haven't seen Bonzo's YouTube channel yet, it's definitely worth looking at. It's always great content. So yeah, give it a look. Another quick update I wanted to give is so on OpenSea, there's this new feature called like collections. And so what it is, like, okay, before collections, like we've got wizards, we've got ponies, we've got souls, we've got the sacred flames, we've got warriors coming up, and like you would you would have to just like find all of those separately. But now there's this new feature on OpenSea where you can go to a page, the Forgotten Runes collection, and you can see all of our collections on one page. And from what I've heard, that this is not something that OpenSea will just do for anyone. But they did it for us because they love us, but also because our new team member Cosmo basically made this happen for us. Dotta, do you want
Thanks,
to say anything about
Cosmo.
that?
Yeah, no, that's all. Yeah, I appreciate it. OpenSea is like down right now, so I'm trying to share the link and I can't get to it. So
yeah. So mostly thanks to Cosmo for setting that up for us. Speaking of NFT collections, we are also live on Coinbase NFT, which I think is still like an invite-only platform, or you have to like be accepted. But yeah, Wizards are like one of the handful of collections that are on Coinbase NFT right now, so that's super cool. And then let's see. Oh, and then speaking of Cosmo, Cosmo has
Forgotten
been.
Market.
What's
Forgotten
that?
Market doesn't go down.
Oh
I was
yeah,
just
of
saying
course.
Forgotten Market. Yeah, Forgotten Market's up. So there you go.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, yeah. Let's be real though. If you're gonna buy a Wizard, don't even buy it on OpenSea or Coinbase. Buy it on the Forgotten Market.
I hope they don't hear that. Whatever. Use Forgotten Market. Ignore these other guys.
Yeah. But no, speaking of Cosmo, Cosmo's just been doing some awesome stuff for us lately. He's the one who animated that warrior on our page. He's got a few other animations going. And then he's actually like, not only is he an awesome animator, but he's helping us build out our like a page on our website, the Warriors landing page. So that'll be coming soon as well. Dotta, do you want to say anything about that?
Cosmo's doing a great job. It's great because Elf and I argue about stuff. We're like, oh, the heading should be capitalized. No, they should be lowercase. And and then we waste time fighting about whether they should be capitalized or lowercase. So then I'm just like, look, just tell Cosmo what to do, and he'll do it, and he won't argue. And I'll work on the card.
Well, the beauty is like the Cosmo serves as the tiebreaker, and he always seems to agree with me. So that's why I love it.
It's perfect, yeah, and he's got better design sense than I do. So not only do I not have to do it, we avoid the fight, and everyone's holding hands and singing Kumbaya. So,
and then another quick thing is Dotta and I did a Spaces with the Nifty Island team yesterday, which was really great. If you don't know who Nifty Island is, they're building this really great 3D meta, and they've invited Wizards to be. I think it's like the second collection they've invited to be in this meta.
I think Chain Runners is their first. I think I'm not sure.
Yeah. And so you guys may have seen that screen grab of a warrior standing in like on an island. That was just like a quick test. That warrior still needs like some work. There's some like metallic surfaces on his helmet and stuff. But point being is like, yeah, 3D Wizards and Warriors will be on Nifty Island. So that's very exciting. And then Tom, you asked about the party, asking about a Discord channel devoted for that, which BamBam says there is one. But I just wanted to say, yes, if you're not aware, if you're new, we are doing a party at NFT-NYC. So if you're going to be at that event, stop by our party. Hopefully the venue is not too far from NFT-NYC. We've got a really great musical guest lined up. We'll announce that soon.
And it should be we're aiming. Okay, we're aiming, not finalized, for the 21st, the first day of the conference. We're trying to book it like towards the front of the conference and not before, not after, not at the end. We're trying to aim it at the front, but we'll tell you when it's like confirmed. I know people are starting to make plans, but the party's definitely happening. We're just picking the date. Locke, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, super excited to bring the Runiverse to fruition IRL at NFT-NYC. And yes, to echo what Dotta just said, it'll be towards the beginning of the week, and as soon as we have everything locked down, you guys will know.
Yeah, Locke, you've also been communicating a lot with the party planning committee, I guess. You want to give any
got that
tidbits
too.
on that, or you want to hold that back?
Oh, I'm
It's like,
holding a lot back. Just know that it'll be the Runiverse come to life, and the goal is to make you feel like a child again.
Or a wizard.
Or a child wizard.
or a child at an Eyes Wide Shut party.
Yeah.
Yeah, some things will happen, rituals and what have you. It's a cult gathering, so
Yeah.
come ready.
Yeah. Come ready for sure.
Yeah, it should be really fun.
Yeah. 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 And then actually, Locke, did you want to? You have a few other things you wanted to just touch on today, right?
Yeah, so I just want to touch on the fact that we've connected with like so many communities for Warriors Allow list, and it's been just amazing hearing the response from Moonbirds, Doodles, and like the Ape list, like just to name drop a couple folks. It's just been really nice to connect with other leaders in the crypto community, in the NFT space, and to see everyone receive the Warrior so well. And the demand for the Allow list is insane,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Crypto Coven is on that list as well, right?
Yeah, we have Crypto Coven and also Zen Academy, which is a new project that we've engaged with, but definitely in alignment with a lot of our ethos in terms of education and magic, you could say.
Yep. Great. Great. Yeah, then we've got some new posters coming out for another poster campaign. I think that's going to debut during NFT-NYC. And then, yeah, we touched on this at the top of the hour with about there's no update from the Bear Cave on the Beach today. Bear is out on business in the Alchemist Archipelago. But I am going to drop just a quick little idea he threw out, and it's just a little idea, But he's I think his son has been playing Elden Ring, and he's like, we just need to do the Runiverse version of Elden Ring, and I said, sure, why not? Let's do that. Just a little idea. But yeah, I mean that game looks amazing to me. Like if and when I get to take a vacation, I might just hunker down and play that game for like 2 weeks. So
I want to do. I want to do like a King's Quest version, like a Cobalt Quest, Duzzle's Great Adventure, a point and click adventure.
fun. Yeah, 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 yeah. There's so many things to do. Okay, I think we have another person who came up here. Thaumaturge. I can't see your full name. Let's see. Oh, Milo of the Reach. Do you have a question? I don't know if you can hear me.
Giveahoot's coming up too.
Oh, and Giveahoot. Yeah, Giveahoot's coming up.
One of the things that while we're bringing people up, I believe we have a special guest slated for Wizard Wednesday next week.
Is it next week?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And is it who I think it is?
It's who you think it is.
Oh, awesome.
Who has not been named. And so you should come to Wizard Wednesday. If you come to Wizard Wednesdays, you should for sure come next week. It'll be even better.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, it's very exciting. Give it a hoot. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, Colt? How's it going, guys?
Hey.
So I had a quick question. Not to make things too serious or whatever, but it seems like, there's so much going on. It's so freaking exciting. It seems like we're kind of at an inflection point, possibly, in the story of Forgotten Runes, right? Like Beast just came into the arena, right? Like that's a humongous lore evolution. We have Warriors coming, the show. Like I feel like for really, in a really, really great way, there's things that are coming that will kind of change the trajectory of this project and the community and the people. I'm curious, do you have any kind of thoughts or feelings or emotions or just observations about kind of where we are in our story, kind of what's happened so far, where we're at now, and then maybe what's to come? Anything that you guys are thinking about and holding dear as we kind of venture into this new uncharted territory? I don't know. Just thoughts like that.
Yeah, for sure. I have 1,000 thoughts on that topic.
I figured you would.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, like part of it was just about like, you know, when I talked about the Warriors coming into the Runiverse today and how, you know, I think it's going to be equally harmonious and discordant, and we should just embrace all of it. Um, you know, that's just a small piece, really. You know, we talked months ago about the three different paths that Forgotten Runes will take in 2022. You know, one was the NFT path, one's the tokenomics path, and one is just like the IP franchise path. We're pursuing all of those simultaneously, and we're making tons of progress on all of them. I mean, I don't know, maybe next week or the week after I can go into detail about that sort of progress. But I don't know, Dota, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I think there's like two parts. One part is sort of like the narrative and story of like what is kind of the narrative of the Runiverse. And I think that like as we've kind of had more time for production, we'll have more time to release those stories out. So for example, the first comic will be coming out this summer. We are getting better as a crew and getting more organized in producing those, and hopefully we'll be able to do the like subsequent issues faster. And I think that the comic book is an opportunity for us to like share more of the world and the story in a way that's like faster than a show. At the same time, yeah, we are like, you know, hope like we will be kind of announcing a third sort of, let's say, partner in the show um, development along with, so it'll be like us, Titmouse, and this third partner, which will be announcing. And then really what we'll be doing is putting together like a treatment, which is sort of like a pitch for a show to then go and pitch that to streamers and try to get the show picked up. And so like, okay, the timeline on that is somewhat long, right? Like it still takes 18 months, 2 years before that shows up on your television. But at the same time, I feel like that's going to be a very good way to kind of like progress the story of the Runiverse forward, but it's also like very far out there. And then, so these would be like the things about around like the stories, and we'll as we release new tokens and these ideas that we have to kind of like digest. On the other end, I think we also have this idea of like digesting just new people coming into the community. It's very funny. Like I'm very fickle on my own side, which is like let's say maybe even 30 days ago, I'm looking at the Discord and like it feels like family, and I love everyone who's there. But then at the same point, feeling like, did we stagnate? Like, why is nobody new joining? Like, why is it the same people? And like, you know, we ship, and it's all we weren't seeing necessarily the same like growth that we wanted. And I feel like the community wanted that too, which is like we know that what we're doing is good work. Where are all the new people? So then we start Warriors, and it is just flood of new people coming into the Discord, for example. Like I felt a little bit unsettled, to be honest, over kind of like the state of the Secret Tower since last Wizard Wednesday when we announced the Warriors drop. Like it's just been so many new people, and so like I think that like it's real. Like I felt even maybe not fear, but like a little caution around wanting to make sure that we can kind of keep that like eternal big family Christmas party vibe in the Discord. And so I think that like I don't want to lose that when we get Warriors, right? Like we still have to be able to keep kind of um, that like warmness and that community feel like as long as possible. And I think that we'll be able to do that.
We
through
will.
Warriors. So, I don't know. Those are some
I'm
of
not
my
worried
ideas.
about it at all.
No, I mean, I
Yeah.
think like, I mean, it's a totally good thing to worry about, right? But I think that the cult is built in a way where it's just kind of not possible. And it's interesting that you say that. I mean, I work at like I'm like a software engineer. I work at tech startups that go through hypergrowth and stuff, and right, and you see a lot of parallels between like the tech industry and how crypto projects can kind of just blow up, and like one of the hardest things about running any organization is scaling organizationally with humans, right? They're very, very complex beings that are very nuanced, and to get people to kind of move in the same direction and have a good time and stay together, and you know, is literally impossible. No one's figured it out, but you can tell when organizations are culturally scalable and which ones aren't. And you see a lot of these projects that kind of, you know, it's like you see a lot of parallels. The hype growth brings in new people before they've been able to establish a foundation, a cultural foundation, and you see the results of that. The cult has taken, you know, its patented lower not floor approach and just continued to build, not only tech, not only a story, but a culture and a cult following. And so I think we're pretty well prepared for that stuff. So, so yeah, I mean, you worry about that, and that's what it brings you to this solution. But now we're going to be fine.
Yep.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is around like try. One of the things I've always tried to do since the beginning is like articulate our principles, right? You know, like when and when someone says something latching onto it, right? I think it was Magus Wazir that summarized this idea of lore, not floor, and that we were maybe fumbling around it early on, but it was summarized so succinctly, and then that becomes something that we can all say to each other, right? And so then when the Secret Tower starts talking about, you know, overemphasizing price over what we're building, everyone has that on their mind, like lore, not floor. And so I think that's part of it for me, which is around, you know, we can't tell people how to act, but we can try to sort of like infuse the community with a certain spirit so that even when like I'm not in the Discord or Alpha's not in the Discord, that spirit still remains and we can kind of like keep the integrity of what we're trying to do.
Yep. Speaking of lore, do we have a lore read today?
Ooh, I don't know.
If you're scheduled to read lore, then put in a request. Otherwise, I was, you know, and I could talk about this for like another 30 minutes, but I think there is, for me, there's something to the idea that we are building a community around universal archetypes. And so
Yeah.
subconsciously, everybody sort of has this mutual understanding of what we are, whether they know it or not. And I just think there really is something to that. Everybody sort of understands these archetypes, and that alone brings a certain coherence to what we're doing. But anyway, I could talk about that all day.
Totally. I'm with you. Yeah.
Damn, are we not going to have our lore person today?
I guess not. If anybody wants to read lore, you have 60 seconds before we start signing off.
I mean,
Well,
we
were
kind
going
of
to talk
had Two
about
Crows. Like, we kind of had the story from Two Crows, which, like,
True.
I mean, basically, if you swap in, like, you know, a wizard for him, I mean, it's basically lore.
I agree. I was going to say that was some seriously Two Crows lore today. let's say Two Crows was the lore master for today.
All
right, everybody. Well, this has been Elf
and Dotta
and Loch Ness.
Loch Ness, Two Crows, Give a Hoot, Matatsuki, Bam Bam, channeling out from the Quantum Downs. Good night, everybody.
Good night.